When I was 13, my dad had an affair and left my mom and moved in with his affair partner, who I'll call Janet. At first, me and my sister would visit every weekend, and I will admit he was a good dad, although I never liked Janet. When Janet got pregnant and had their son, our visits became less frequent, and my dad was more concerned with his new family. He would miss some of my recitals or my sister's competitions because he was busy with his son. When I was 16, Janet decided she wanted to move for a new job opportunity. Me and my sister begged him not to leave us, but he just said, "I need to prioritize my family." He moved 10 hours away. That pretty much ended our relationship, and I decided to go no contact, as it was clear he did not consider me family. My younger sister stayed in contact with him. He would try and call me and offer for me to come and visit with my sister, but I refused. When he came back to see my sister, I would refuse to speak to him when he turned up at the house. I didn't invite him to my high school or college graduation. I'm now 33 and have remained no contact with him. He has over the years repeatedly tried contacting me and getting his family to contact me on his behalf to reconcile. I have avoided family events in case he attended, including my sister's wedding and baby showers. My dad and his family moved back to our hometown 3 months ago, and he has been relentlessly trying to reconcile. I have received messages from my half-brother and sister wanting a relationship, saying he's a great dad. My dad found out I'm getting married and keeps trying to contact me and has even tried to speak to my fiancé. Janet messaged me saying I have broken my dad's heart repeatedly and I'm pathetic and should get therapy. I replied back that she was nothing but a home-wrecking whore and then blocked her. Everyone seems to be wanting me to let him back in my life. I'm sick of all the harassment and accidentally bumping into my dad and his family in the town. Whenever I see him, I just walk away and refuse to speak to them. Everyone is saying he's a good dad and tried his best to remain in contact, but I pushed him away. Everyone is pressuring me, my mom, sister, grandparents, aunts and uncles, even some of my friends. My fiancé has even started saying I'm the a-hole for shutting him out. It's all starting to get to me. So am I the a-hole? Some comments. Not the a-hole, but this is going to be brutal if your fiancé doesn't get on board with your pirate ship. Depending on the size of your hometown and how serious he is about pushing this, you may need to consider moving, especially if everyone around you is involved. You're allowed to have whatever kind of relationship you want with your father. Did your fiancé have to deal with being abandoned by your dad? Nope. Your sister was younger than you and may not have felt the loss like you did. You have the right to feel angry and hurt. Block Janet. This is the woman who pressured your father to leave your town. She had an affair with him that broke up your family. Your father did those things too. Neither one of them has any right to tell you how to react or feel. Deadbeat parents love to get back in their kids' lives when the kids are adults and no longer need to be parented and things are easy. You should feel totally free to do what is right for you. Tell everyone else that you no longer want to hear about this. They don't get to dictate how you feel. Whenever anyone brings it up, leave the room or put down the phone. Do not tolerate it, and people will learn to shut it. Update 8 hours later. Thank you for all of the comments, although most seem to be not the a-hole, some were you, the a-hole. Some of you gave helpful suggestions which I am planning to take on board. I have just spoken to my fiancé, and unfortunately, it has not gone well. But at this point in time, I've had enough and want to run away and never come back. My fiancé knows my history with my dad and Janet. I explained to him that him siding with my father and pressuring me was hurting me, and as my fiancé, he should be supporting me. My fiancé, who I'll call Larry, told me he can't support me in doing something that he knows is wrong. Larry told me that he had spoken to my father and had an understanding of both sides of the story, and believes that if we both sit down and talk, we can sort this out and reconcile. I told Larry I don't want this and want no contact, and asked why he is even speaking to my father. Larry admitted his father, who is friends with my dad, encouraged Larry to speak to him and hear him out. Larry told me my dad loved me very much and always wanted to be in my life and has pictures of me. I'm guessing he got these from my family as my social media is set to private. Larry said my dad is heartbroken at the state of our relationship because I was being unreasonable about him moving away when I was young. Larry stated I got on the wrong foot with Janet and that I was not innocent in the breakdown of the relationship. He told me that everyone can see the truth, but me, and to look in the mirror because I'm the problem. Needless to say, I broke down crying and asked him why he was doing this to me and not supporting me. Larry claims to love me, but won't stand by and watch me be a heartless puss. After he said this, I stood up, told him that he shouldn't marry a heartless puss, and walked out. I'm currently sat in my car. My phone is blowing up with Larry trying to contact me, but I don't want to speak to him. I feel like I'm losing everything and everyone. I don't understand what is happening. Update 18 hours later. I know a lot of you telling me to cut all contact with my family and leave town. That is not an option for me financially, and I would not be able to set up business elsewhere. All my money is invested in it, and I have only managed to get established recently, with steady income. Relocating is not an option for me. I love my friends and family and don't want to cut everyone off. I love my hometown. I grew up here. This is my life, and I'm not willing to walk away from it. I didn't expect to write another update this fast, but a lot has happened today. So firstly, I agreed to meet my dad to talk and try and get him to back off and leave me alone. I asked my mom to arrange it, just him and no one else. I wasn't sure if he would agree to that, but within 15 minutes of her calling, he was at the door. I asked my mom to stay and meditate. To summarize the conversation, these are a bit messed up because it's a lot to remember. About me. I asked him to give me space and stop trying to get everyone on his side and let me live my life. I told him he stopped being my father when he moved 10 years away. I told him Janet was mean to me and told him about all the horrible things she has said to me over the years. I hate how he chose Janet and his new family over me, and how he told me he had to prioritize them, and how he basically told me I wasn't family. He was an a-hole for withholding my college fund and trying to blackmail me and then spending it on his new family. I hate how I have missed major family events because he attended the events and would make them awkward. I don't see his son and daughter as my family, and I'm sick of them trying to speak to me and approach me. He keeps making scenes every time he sees me and making me look the bad guy. He keeps inserting himself into my life, going to my fiance's family events, going behind my back to talk and sway Larry to his side. I hate how he cheated on my mom and broke our family up, and then listened to Janet, who stopped our dates, missed my recitals, reduced contact, and was more concerned about his son, about him. He loves me, and always has. He is never going to give up trying to reconnect, and he has given me enough space over the years, and he is done hearing about my life from secondhand knowledge and is not willing to miss any more of it. He loves Janet and can't regret his past because he wouldn't have her or his 2 kids. He wishes he had done it differently and ended his marriage with my mom first. His kids are innocent, and I shouldn't be taking it out on them. They just want to know their big sister. I was a difficult child who was rude and disrespectful to Janet, breaking her belongings, calling her names, ruining day-outs. When Janet got pregnant, she was high risk, and me coming every week and starting arguments was stressing her out. So for her and his son's sake, he stopped the weekend visitation. He still spoke to us on the phone and took us out for dinner and days out, but just didn't let us sleep over. When his son was born, he was premature and had health complications, which meant him staying in hospital for weeks and frequent hospital admissions. Janet was also going through postpartum depression, so he wasn't able to see us as much and had to miss some events when he was taking care of Janet and his son. Janet was unable to get a job locally, and the opportunity was too good to pass up, so they had to move. He pointed out that he came back to town for weekends as much as he could to see us and would always invite us to fly out and spend vacations with him. He phoned every day, but I refused to speak or see him. They had flown in for my graduation, but I refused to invite him, and he lost his temper and refused to give me my college fund. He apologized for this and tried to fix this a few weeks later and give me the money, but I refused it. He has not spent the money he still has, and I have only to ask, and I can have it. He had visited me at my college to try and talk to me, but I refused to see him. He is not going to miss family events. He makes a scene because he misses me and just wants to talk to me and reconcile, but I always end up running away or shouting insults at him and Janet. He has been trying for 16 years to reconnect, but I shut him down at every turn. He just wants to be my dad. He is old friends with my fiancé dad, and he hoped my fiancé could talk some sense into me and open a line of communication. He feels I never gave Janet a chance, no matter how she tried in the beginning, and hoped we could be civil. Janet hates knowing I talk bad about her, am mean to her children, and won't speak to him. He wants my dad to be in therapy and wants me to join him for family sessions. He wants me to spend time with him, one-on-one, to stop being rude and mean to his children, and spend time with them. Stop trash-talking Janet to everyone, and actually give her a chance. Invite for him and my family to my wedding, and to walk me down the aisle. I want him to stop talking to my friends and getting others to try and talk to me on his behalf. Keep Janet away from me completely, to be civil at events or in town, providing he does not try and hug me or talk to me. My mom told him he was being unrealistic with some of the things he wants, especially regarding Janet and his other children. So we have agreed for now. I will attend 3 therapy sessions with him when he arranges it. My mom thinks I need individual therapy as well. He will stop trying to interfere in my life and relationships. He will keep Janet away from me and talk to his kids to give me space. I will be civil to him in public as long as he respects my personal space and does not approach or pressure me. As for my fiancé, I still haven't spoken to him. He turned up at my mom's, but she refused to let him in. He keeps blowing up my phone, and so does his family and friends, telling me to hear him out. During my conversation with my dad, I found out my dad has paid for most of the vendors and services for my upcoming wedding, and they have been on speaking terms for quite some time, longer than I thought. Larry told me his family had paid for these, and I believed him. I feel betrayed by him and that I can't trust him. I'm going to have to speak to him eventually, but I don't feel ready. Update 6 days later. Firstly, I'd like to apologize for taking down my posts. I was really upset and felt under a lot of pressure and needed space to think without constant messages. Some of you were trying to be helpful, and I appreciate that, but some of the abusive messages I received were terrible. I'm updating for those who have asked for an update and were supportive to me. This will be my last post, and I won't be posting again. Firstly, the deal with my dad is off the table. He couldn't even manage a week without overstepping my boundaries. So there will be no therapy sessions with him, and I will remain no contact. As you are all aware, after speaking to my dad and agreeing a way forward and my conditions, keep Janet away from me. Tell his kids to back off. Don't pressure me or invade my space. It lasted all of 3 days. Everyone seemed happy. I had forgiven my dad and told me so. My sister was excited. I was willing to give him a chance, and with some pressure I agreed to have dinner with just her and my dad. When my sister and I arrived at the restaurant to meet our dad, he was not alone. He had invited Janet, my grandparents, his son and daughter. He got up and tried to hug me. I immediately became upset, asking why they were there. My dad told me that if we have any hope of repairing our relationship, I had to accept Janet and my younger siblings. I told him he just broke our deal and to never contact me again, and tried to leave. He refused to let me leave and grabbed hold of me. When I say all hell broke loose, I mean it. I started shouting at them. My dad, Janet, and grandparents tried to gaslight me and convince me to sit down when that didn't work. Things got very heated, and a shouting match started, and a lot of unforgivable things were said by my dad and Janet, including remarks about my appearance and calling me a psychopath. My half-brother walked out of the restaurant, and my half-sister started to cry. My sister actually surprised me and defended me, shouting at my dad for ruining things after all this time when I had finally given him a chance. She even slapped Janet. She got me out of there and apologized to me. I think this was the first time she had really seen how Janet was with me and how she treated me. She kept saying she couldn't understand how Dad had spent years saying he would do anything to have me back, and then would do this when he finally got his chance to rebuild the relationship. My dad has been trying to contact me, but I have blocked him and refused to talk to him. I have also refused to speak to my grandparents. My dad has tried to convince my mom and sister to speak to me, but I think he's burned his bridges with them. The incident from the restaurant has spread and some people seem to be backing off. Like I said, what my dad and Janet shouted at me was unforgivable, and they were overheard, and this is a small town. Hopefully people will back off, and those who won't, I'm going to have to cut them out. My sister is very unhappy with my dad and Janet, and not speaking to them. She is blaming them for me going no contact again. My sister is not letting them see her kids. I don't know if my sister will reconcile, but right now she is furious. My mom is also furious and apparently had a few choice words with my dad and Janet and has promised she will never pressure me again to speak to him. I am going to go to individual therapy. I think I definitely need it. I do feel bad about my half-siblings as they haven't done anything wrong and am maybe open to having a distance kind of relationship with them in the future, but I'm not ready yet, or if I ever be. I did send them a message on Facebook to apologize and tell them they've done nothing wrong. Lastly, to update you all, in regards to my fiancé, I spoke to him yesterday about everything I had been radio silent since walking out on him. Basically, he was pressured by his father to speak to my dad and was fed a sob story of a misunderstood father desperately wanting to be in his daughter's life. Larry had become annoyed with me refusing to attend his family events and walking out of his mother's birthday party when I realized my dad and Janet were there, as he was getting pressure from his family about me ruining their events. He just wanted everyone to be happy and get along clearly at my expense. Larry admitted my dad had paid for some of the vendors for the wedding, but he did not know this until after it was already paid. His father had told Larry that him and his mom had paid. My dad had told Larry it was a gift and his way of contributing. Larry admitted my dad had asked him to speak to me on his behalf. I told Larry he had betrayed my trust and I couldn't see myself marrying someone who does not support me. He broke down crying and apologizing to me and promising to never do it again. Larry was heartbroken and begged for a second chance. To those of you who wanted me to break up with him, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but we are going to try and work through this. Apart from this issue, he had been the best partner, and I genuinely think that he had been manipulated by his family and my dad. Larry has promised to stand up to his family and go no contact with my dad. I'm still living with my mom's, as I still need some space, which I won't have if I move home. We are going to contact our wedding vendors and see what our options are next week. Larry is begging for a postponement, rather than cancel it altogether. We may still break up as actions speak louder than words, and I need to see if he can rebuild what we had and show me I can trust and depend on him. Update 4. Hi everyone. I did not plan to make another update at all, but I'm still getting messages for an update and thought I would let you know the recent developments. Firstly, I have canceled the wedding. I was able to get some partial refunds, but have lost some money. Larry begged me not to cancel the wedding, but there was no way I could marry him after what he did. I was set on giving him a second chance, and he promised me he would go low contact and stand up to his parents and issue an ultimatum that we would not tolerate any contact with my dad and Janet. Basically, he would tell them we would not attend any event or party if they were invited, and we would not tolerate any attempt to force contact or relationship with my dad. He met with them to explain this to them. When he came back from this meeting, he was quite irritable with me and appeared to have had a change of heart. To summarize it, he was trying to convince me his family only meant well and that he can't go low contact with his family because he loves them and he can't dictate their friendships. He then tried to convince me it won't be an issue in the future, and his father would speak to my dad and tell him to be on his best behavior in my presence. As soon as I heard this, people's comments went through my head, and the main one being, if we had children, he would take them to his family, where my dad and Janet would be, and I would have no control over this. At that moment, I realized I couldn't trust Larry and never would be able to. I broke up with him. He is not taking it well and keeps begging me to take him back, and that he would go no contact with his family. His family and friends are trying to convince me on his behalf not to end our relationship. He has made his choice and proven to me he is spineless. I don't need him in my life. In regards to my dad, I'm looking into getting a restraining order given what happened in the restaurant. I might be able to, but I don't know yet. A friend of mine is helping me look into this. My dad has kept a low profile since last week, apart from a couple of attempts to apologize to me. I haven't heard much from him. My sister still won't speak to him or Janet. Unlike me, my sister is highly confrontational and has blasted him and Janet on social media with what happened at the restaurant and things that have happened in the past which I didn't know about. My sister and Janet had a very public screaming match when she had seen them in town due to my sister's posts and demanding to take them down. It ended up with Janet assaulting my sister. My dad apparently sided with Janet in this. My sister now hates Janet and refuses to speak to our dad, who is also trying to contact her. My dad and Janet's reputation seems to have taken a hit, and between the incident in the restaurant and my sister's fight with Janet and the numerous Facebook posts about them, people are gossiping. This has worked well for me because some people have backed off, which I'm happy about. Unfortunately, there are a few people still on his side, including my ex's parents. As for my half-siblings, there's not much of an update in regards to them. I've found a therapist, however, there is a bit of a waiting list before I can start my therapy. I'm still living with my mom, who is completely by my side, and I have found a kitten and will pick her up next week. Some comments. Lost and dumbfound. Your ex and his family, and your dad and his wife suck ass. Sorry this has all happened to you, and I realize as much as Reddit is all aboard the dump him train, and I do believe it was the best decision. You're probably still heartbroken, and it will take time to heal. Take your time. Engage with the block button whenever someone sends you an out-of-pocket message about the situation. The people who you have removed from your life have no one to blame but themselves. I love the fact the ex claims he can't control his family's relationships, but he's not above trying to control hers. New update, 15 days later. Hi everyone. Thought I would give you an update as to what's been happening the last couple of weeks for those of you who are still interested. Firstly, I'm still with my mom's and I got my little kitten. I've named her Saska, and she is the sweetest thing, but very energetic. For those of you asking for pictures, I'll try, but she refuses to stay still long enough to get a one that's not blurred. I love her already. My mom continues to be my rock. I'm still waiting for therapy, but I'm finding Reddit useful and therapeutic, and the support I've received from most of the people on here has been great and helped me see things more clearly, so a big thank you to everyone. As for my ex, now that we've broken up, I feel lighter and free, and being away from him has made me see all the red flags that I was blind to in our relationship and feel like I've dodged a bullet. Luke, using real names because my posts were discovered, is not taking the breakup well and has taken over from my father constantly bothering me. If you read this, Luke, we are done, and I'm not changing my mind, so stop calling me, stop coming to the house, and stop sending me flowers. I'm moving on, so you should too. My sister Emma is still firmly on my side and has washed her hands of Janet, stepmonster, and they are not on speaking terms after my sister told everyone about Janet's affairs. Janet is still trying to save face, saying my sister is lying and telling everyone she can how we are just the worst and that we have treated her terrible over the years and trying to ruin her marriage. Don't think anyone is buying what she is saying. She has sent abusive messages to me and my sister, and when we've bumped into her, she's been screaming at us and threatening us. My sister's car had been keyed and my store windows were smashed. We can't prove it's her, unfortunately, but she is the most likely culprit. My half-siblings are definitely my dad's children. They tested them years ago when she was a baby. From what I've heard, they're not speaking to Janet at all. As for my dad, he seems to have grown a spine and has kicked out Janet. She is now living with her parents. From what I've heard, he's thinking about divorce. I haven't had any contact with my dad, except for a text saying he was sorry for everything. As for getting a restraining order, I'm more concerned about getting one against Janet at the moment.